We all recognize the caricature, a bearded king on Mount Olympus, governing through temper tantrums and lightning bolts. He is a god of raw power and arbitrary impulse. Yet history reveals a pronounced contradiction. Over a few centuries, the Greeks systematically dismantled this physical, human-like version of their supreme god and rebuilt his identity from the ground up. Why would a civilization take the absolute head of their religion and intentionally strip away his personality, his morality, and his form? Zeus operated as a civilizational algorithm. He was the mechanism the Greeks used to debug their social structures and process existential crises. Every time their culture hit a limit, whether in law, ethics, or logic, they updated the god. The resulting evolution tracks the specific steps the Greeks took to build the modern concept of the mind. The pre-Olympian world was a place of unmediated natural terror. In early mythology, the cosmos is dominated by titans who swallow their own children, figures representing a brutal, chaotic power that offered no stability for human life. The first update to the code is Zeus's violent overthrow of these forces. By defeating the titans and the serpentine Typhoeus, Zeus establishes a permanent boundary between a structured cosmos and the formless past. This victory asserted the dominance of Logos. It was a political theology stating that a structuring intelligence had tamed the terrifying volcanic reality of nature. Zeus maintained this stability through a constitutional order. He swallowed the goddess of cunning intelligence, Metis, to internalize wise counsel, and then he distributed power, allocating specific spheres of influence to the other gods, rather than ruling by solo whim. By internalizing strategic foresight and distributing authority, the Greeks codified the idea that raw force must always be secondary to the organization of power. As the Greek city-state emerged, it faced a crisis of internal violence. The ancient system of clan justice, where one murder demanded another in an endless blood feud, threatened to tear the new democracy apart. In 458 BCE, the playwright Aeschylus used the theater of Dionysus to stage a theological correction. In the Oresteia, he presented a public record of the god's moral transformation. Zeus transitioned from an opaque Homeric warlord into a guarantor of cosmic justice. Aeschylus defined this new era with the law of pathemathos, learning through suffering, reframing human pain as a tool for moral education. This shift concluded with the trial of Orestes. Athena, acting as the instrument of Zeus's thought, introduced a human jury to break the cycle of vengeance. The ancient Furies, the personifications of bloodlust, were persuaded to accept a new, subordinate role within the legal system. The universe now had a moral arc. By subordinating the irrational demands of the past to the rational requirements of the city, Zeus became the ultimate protector of the law court. The third crisis was intellectual. With the rise of early Greek science and philosophy, a human-like god throwing physical lightning became a difficult concept for thinkers to defend. The philosopher Xenophanes led the initial assault, mocking the idea that the divine looked like mortals. He argued for one all-perfect divine nature, a singular mind that perceived and governed without physical movement. The Stoics erased Zeus's mythological personality entirely, defining him as the Logos, the rational structure of reality itself. This moved the god from a mountain into the human mind. Every person now contains a fragment of this divine code, creating a universal brotherhood. By replacing the mythological dictator with a universal principle, philosophers provided a way for the divine to coexist with logic. By the Hellenistic era, Zeus had been drained of his original Greek history. He was worshipped as Zeus Hypsistos, the highest, an omnipotent and benevolent mind who governed all nations equally. This shifted the Western worldview away from local, tribal deities toward the recognition of a single cosmic constitution that applied to everyone. By scrubbing away the lightning bolts and the petty drama, the Greeks created a theological vacancy. They had developed the sophisticated language for a single, morally perfect God, but they had left that God without a face. Early Christian thinkers utilized this exact linguistic bridge. When the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek, the name of God was rendered as Kyrios, the standard title for Zeus. They adopted the philosopher's concept of the Logos to explain their own theology, using the intellectual space Zeus had occupied for centuries. The name of Zeus eventually faded, But the civilizational updates he forced into existence, the rule of law, the pursuit of reason, and the idea of universal justice, remain the primary code of the modern world.